No, you tie. They're going to watch you.
Oh, then they... Okay.
Then they all go and sit down.
And I can walk around and...
Yes. Explain what you're doing.
Okay.
Size, material, thread, you name it, everything.
The first thing I'd like you all to do when you start tying is create the wing for this fly, because it needs either fly tier's head cement, or I use, this is my daughter's clear nail polish. I didn't bring any with me. And the way we achieve this is, I'll do one quickly.
There's your camera.
Okay, a small partridge hackle, and strip this sucker, I guess, to about 13 millimeters, 12 millimeters. Is that being too fussy?
Barry, anything you want to show, put it in front of the hook.
Yep.
Okay, because that's when it's...
Alright, I've stripped it down to about 12 millimeters, that way. And this dries very quickly, because put some varnish on the feather and just draw it through your fingers, and it should all stick together like that. You want 2 of these, because you then stick 2 of them together, but you see where the 2 stems of the feathers are? They're slightly separated. You don't want them on top of each other, you want them like slightly apart. And that, when you tie it down on the front of the hook, it's going to do that over the hook. So let's put the body on. Well, let's get some tying silk first. I've used a Regal Vise for years, I don't know how long, but about 2 years ago I was introduced to the Norvise, and this thing is amazing. I cannot say enough good things about Norman, is the guy that invented it, but he's even got a retractable sprung load bobbin. I don't know of any other one in the world, but you'll see the benefits of this in a minute. So here we go. Let's just cut that off. Okay, it doesn't really matter about the body material, except the material itself. Poly yarn for floatability. And forgive me, a lot of you guys might know this, but you can create an instant, perfectly segmented fur body if you make a fur rope. So you take a small piece of poly yarn and you roll it in your hand like this. Stick that under the hook shank, and I don't know if I'm going to, with this band-aid, this plaster on my finger, I don't know if this is going to work. No, it's not. I'm going to have to take this off. This finger is ugly, guys. I'm sorry, I apologise. The whole thing got whacked with not a hammer, a golf bag, believe it or not.
Golf bag.
A golf bag. This one of the studs on the bottom, full of clubs. Whammo! Yeah, and that was about 2 months ago. It's just growing out. Anyway, here's the fur rope. You've got to hold that in position here and twist it onto the yarn. You see what's happened there? And now watch as I turn that forwards, not backwards. You get a segmented body. Too much fur. We're going to have to take some of that off. And, you know, again, forgive me if you sell fly tying materials and stuff. I don't want to upset the apple cart, but that's the best pair of fly tying scissors I've ever had in my life, because I can get my bloody fingers in it. You get them in anywhere where women buy wool and cloth and stuff. They're yeah, Fisco. Awesome fly tying scissors, because you can see, look at those points. and right at the very, very tip they cut perfectly. I love them. Okay, the wing. We have stuck
What is the name of this one?
a brown caddis, brown dry caddis. Yeah, and you can change the wing materials, obviously different colours, like cinnamon. You can get some cinnamon feathers for a cinnamon caddis. But here you go, those two feathers stuck together with your cement, and you're going to tie on top of the actual feather, not on the stalks. And I think you can see what's happened. It's made an instant tent. In fact, I don't even have to have the hook down there. I can bring it out here. Can you all see that? See, I've got an instant tent there. Wind it back a bit. I often pull these back, tie them down again, and then the only way they're going to come off the hook is if they snap off. I just split the wing with my scissors, but not to worry, because a bit of varnish is going to make it all better again. The antenna, on these Cree capes and chinchilla capes, if you palm through them, you'll find what I call bum feathers. It's like feathers that haven't got any decent markings on them, and that's the ones I pull out. You see, there's one there. That's no good for fly tying because of the colour. So that's the one I'd pull out and strip for the antenna of the fly to save waste in the hackle. And I do have some prepared. 2 antenna. And they've got, you know, a nice like barred marking on them. Tie those in right there. The eyes have to come on next, and I guess you want me to burn some, don't you?
Why not?
Believe it or not, these still come from the factory. We had a permanently employed eye burner. She sat all day, every day, burning eyes. And I've got like 100 packets like this. Different sizes. I know, it's crazy. Look, I can't even show you on the camera, I don't think. But there's the eyes. Can you see that?
Yeah.
And now you're going to want me to burn some, aren't you?
No.
No? Good. Okay. Onward. Figure of 8s over these eyes. Get rid of the camel. Come back to where you tied the wing in. It's really not a difficult fly to tie, and I haven't got any prepared feathers, so let's just pick one.
That's all of this one.
Out of this one.
What is your hook size then?
A 12, I think, isn't it? 10. I'm sorry, 10. And again, the hackle size isn't really that important because we're going to whack half of it off with a pair of scissors when I finish. This fly does not have to sit on the water like a regular traditional dry fly. We want it to sit flat on the water. I like to trim this stem off before I wind that hackle because it's more difficult to get the scissors in there when I'm finished. I'm winding the silk back to where the hackle starts because I like to wind the silk through my hackles for strength. About 4 turns.
Are you hackling forward or through itself?
I'm sorry?
Are you hackling forward or?
Yeah, I wound the hackle forward And I had the silk back as well, and I wound the silk forward through the hackle.
But in the same direction.
Yeah. And don't worry about cutting off hackles underneath the hook, because I'll show you what happens now once I get this whip finished.
The thumb doesn't exactly bend anything, does it?
No, it looks really ugly, doesn't it? If I let go of that thread, it's going to back on the spool because of the spring. So that's one of the reasons Norm came up with this post. I just hang it on the post.
Is there a handicap, Barry?
I'm sorry?
Is there a handicap?
You don't want to know. In Maritzburg, when I left, man, you want me to waffle on for another 2 hours? No, I was a 10, and I actually work on a golf course in America now.
You joking?
Yeah, as a marshal, starter, whatever they were, part time. But I guess I'm a 16 because I only took up golf again two years ago. I've been 23 years without golf. Okay, I'm going to whack off all the hackles here. Wham. Gone. Because we want it to sit down on the surface fill. And the antenna, about there, you can pull them apart. I'm getting old. And
quite long.
I don't know if you guys can see that.
Very nice, actually.
And it really, you know, if you're fishing a caddis hatch, you would think, oh, that's fishing emerger, because an emerging caddis. But if they're feeding on the emerging caddis flies, they're going to kill this. They're going to just eat this thing up. No difference. I've got a bit of hackle stem still on that one. Just cut that off a little bit shorter. There you go. That's it, guys. And if anybody wants to not have to bugger around with burning eyes, come and help yourself. Or I'll walk around.
Dangerous suggestion, yeah. I must just tell you, Barry, your eyes for due time for the shoot.
Have you used the pattern a lot?
Huh?
Have you used the pattern a lot?
Yeah, many years ago, because for 23 years, apart from, you know, like once a year or once every 2 years when I go trout fishing, I never go trout fishing. I'm saltwater fly fishing.
Thanks, here.
That's